Welcome to Off the Court as we round up the success of the England Roses International Series Down Under. And to talk us through it all, I'm very, very pleased to be joined by head coach Jess Thirlby and England Rose Imogen Allison. Guys, I'm feeling a little bit guilty because this is fresh off the back of the the final New Zealand game, and you really should be out celebrating. So I appreciate you joining me.
No, it's all right. Happy to be here.
Oh, that's good. Well, Jess will just be doing some analysis, but Imo, for you, I'm sure there'll be a bit of partying. It's been a long tour, but a successful one, a really successful one. So look, we'll get straight into the chat. Jess, let's start with you. We went into this series. You talked about being up for the challenge. You talked about being a stress test, bringing in fresh talent. What a series! 3 wins against world number 1 and number 2. How thrilled are you with the performances?
Yeah, look, I think when we allow ourselves to kind of celebrate it, which we will do, I'm not that bad. I mean, I won't be doing analysis tonight, most probably, but I think if somebody had said to us all as a group before we left London that we'd be coming home with a win against Australia in front of 30,000 people in the very stadium that we'll have to go back out to for a World Cup, I think we would have taken that, and also to then be able to really chase that series win when we came off the back of that into New Zealand. I think it did really mean a lot to us to kind of like try and get that series win. I think to take the scalp of both nations away from home is massive, as you say, world number 1 and 2, but also to kind of have got so much into this group in terms of experience and do it that way, losing Elle and obviously Nat very early on. That isn't where we expected to be. And for players to seamlessly step in, those that have been in the group step up. I think there's so much that we can be super proud of. And as you say, I think it is a massive success and should not be underestimated really as to how this team have gone about getting those wins is pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was really exciting watching here at home. I want to pick up Imo on Helen Housby's post after you win against Australia, because I mean it was a huge win. Absolutely incredible to watch. She posted, it's the 3rd time ever we've won on Australian soil, and she got that iconic shot of her jumping and hugging Joe Hart. And I mean, how special was that for you as a group, and how important for the confidence of that group as well?
Oh, it was huge. I mean, for us going into that arena, like it's a pretty big arena. It's relatively daunting, especially when it's filled with a bunch of Aussie fans. And we'd played there before and lost. And I think we really wanted to go out, and we knew it was kind of a now or never situation in terms of levelling the series. So yeah, it was pretty huge for confidence, and having players on that like was on first cap or like their second cap, like the lowest, like just absolutely go on there with confidence and smash it. Like it's huge going forward. And yeah, it was a great place to do it at.
Well, look, I don't literally wear this netball hoodie every day if you're watching on YouTube. I was wearing it on the last Off the Court. I have washed it since then, but I'm actually currently in England Roses Academy camp because I assist with that age group. And Jess, we were in camp on that morning that you won, and all the players were down, your 21s, your 19s, your 17s, they're all in there at breakfast watching you beat Australia. It was so exciting. Changing that kind of mindset and that fear, how important is it not only for the players, but also the fan base as well? Because you take us on a roller coaster, you really do.
Yeah, I think in fairness, I think that's been coming for a little while. I obviously we've had excellent England teams, not least obviously 2018 being a real breakthrough moment. But since then, it's been around trying to uncover the next team that are going to be capable of doing that again. And it was always going to take some time because I'm not sure the depth and breadth was there when I came into the post. And I've just kind of hopefully helped uncover a group of players who are really up for it. And you've now got players in this group who, I mean, Liv Cheen's first 2 matches against New Zealand, it was 2 from 2. I mean, it's just Helen Housby said in our debrief, what is going on? These youngsters don't even know what it is to lose against number 1 and 2. And it was a real kind of sobering thought to just think, yeah, actually, it is massive. You've got players in here like Berry. She cares less about who they are, what they've done, what they've won. And she's just so driven to kind of like bring success and contribute to the success of this team. So I think to have a different generation coming through with already with a relatively like robust belief in themselves. Like, don't get me wrong, we haven't yet made habits of what we've done here, but we're putting in a pretty big shift now for 2 or 3 years where we've taken the scalps of Australia, New Zealand and Jamaica, and consistently against South Africa. And I think at some point that it's really important that that's acknowledged and that these girls get the credit they deserve for starting to change that narrative of global netball. And ultimately, netball needs it. They need us, they need Jamaica, they need the upcoming African nations to really challenge the top two. And it's just great, really, that we've been able to come out here and do that with this group, because you've got, as Imo said, new players who know no different now and believe it's possible, and that's only going to strengthen and help build momentum.
Absolutely. I think it's been incredible to watch it. And like you say, not knowing who's going to win at the start, having those international teams properly competing against each other, it's so important for the sport to continue to thrive. Imo, I want to pick up on the fact that I'm guessing you'll come home for a short period and then you're back out. You're going to my old team, the Firebirds. I'm very jealous. But in terms of that opportunity, playing against the Aussies regularly and what you've learned again on this series, how important is it for you to get back out there to start developing your game?
Oh, it's really important for me to be able to play against the Aussie style. Obviously, I've played against them like over the years, but like doing it now more recently, right before I'm able to go over and play in SSN, really helps me kind of learn and like come up against players that I am going to come up against in the different teams and just how we combat that style. But then obviously with Brisbane, getting a new coach in Kiri, it's great that like she's going to bring a little bit of New Zealand flair. So it's exciting to be able to come here and play against New Zealand and kind of see how they work as well. So yeah, it was a great tour for me and prep to be able to go over to Brisbane more confident, and we were able to put out some good performances against these sides, obviously, and it really has built my confidence to be able to go over there and see what I can do.
You're going to absolutely smash it. Were you a bit friendlier on the court this time with the Aussies, just in case they become your teammates?
Absolutely
no.
No.
And touch on Shani Lauder being in that group for you as well, because we spoke to her in our off the court build up, and I mean, she's such a character. How key was she for you guys?
Shani was class. She's so good. She just like says it how it is. Like she's just like, well, if you just do your job first, then we can win the ball and we can work together after. And it's like, oh yeah, like you're so right. I should just do my job, and everything else does end up falling into place. And she really stripped it back into basics for us as a defensive unit, which is super important when you're playing a team like Australia, who are very regimented, like do their triangles and kind of work the ball to the edge and do the whole rotating circle. So yeah, it was great having Shani in.
Jess, let's touch on the attack end then as well, because that's probably the area, like you said, when you lost Elle, when you lost Nat, there were changes. You'd spoken about that fresh talent. I know you've touched on Liv with her player of the match in New Zealand, just casually winning 2 games from 3. Talk to me about Lois Pearson though, because she looked like she'd been playing in a red dress forever.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite incredible really to think about how she's accelerated herself onto the international scene. Like years gone by, you and I both know that it sometimes took years for anyone to kind of transition into a senior Roses team, let alone impact on a game as she has. And I think she obviously deserves a lot of the credit, but also the players around her, I think, go a little bit under the radar. Like obviously the likes of Helen, Imo, Fran and Beth have proven themselves to be a really important skeleton of the team through both series. And I'd like to think that, although maybe a little bit unexpected with obviously Nat leaving the team, I've known coming over here that Lois offers both positions, but obviously that's maybe happened a little bit quicker and sooner under the toughest of conditions, really, for her to step into that role in place of Nat and really compete for that as well, because we obviously do have Hannah here and we have Jess, and that's nice to have that problem, because I know wing attack has been a discussion point for a little while. So although forced to do that with Nat obviously returning back to the UK, I think Lois has been brilliant, and I think it's just a really nice position for us to now be in, knowing that we've got Lois that can swing the line, and we still have those specialist players in both Hannah and Jess who we also know can swing to centre, and that's been a rarity for us to find those wing attack centres. So it's a really great problem to have moving forward, and I think Lois has managed herself so maturely, really. I think we're all enjoying Imo's worked with her all year, obviously, so I think there's another little side to Lois. She isn't all quiet, is what I'm hearing, but I think she's really enjoyed herself, and I hope has embraced her first experience on a tour. And what a first experience to have. You know, like there's some stories to be told there about debuting in the way that she has.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really quite interesting. I've been on many tours like you, Jess, where you come home and you've not won a game and you've not even come close to a game. To come back with three huge scalps, of winning the trophy in New Zealand, you know, not done that since 2021, push New Zealand all the way to not have a complete whitewash as well was impressive. Emma, I want to come to you then, because there was a little smirk when we said Lois isn't that quiet. I need to know some off the court gossip, because we've seen it on the court, but it was a long tour, right? And that culture piece is really important. So who are kind of the big personalities in that group that pull you all together?
Fran does a lot of work to, you know, make sure we're all having fun and just enjoying ourselves. And but you know, you've got Helen, who is always up for a quiz. Joe and Helen, you know, they love a quiz. So Joe set up some really incredible. They love it, and they're bringing Lois right in there. Lois is pretending to be an introvert, I'm telling you. But yeah, once you've got her out, she has a good time, and we all just love having fun, like whether we're playing with an inflatable ball in the pool or just sat around playing cards. We just, I don't know, I guess we enjoy just being with each other. And Berry loves the game. Most competitive person I know, I think. In cards, I think we ended up playing cheat just so she could get away with cheating, because she had anything to win from Bez. But yeah, no, we have a lot of fun.
Who's the biggest nightmare? Who's the one like me that always used to turn up in the wrong kit, forget a trainers, not on time? Who's that one?
Well,
I think these days.
We haven't had no one's been too bad this tour. Fummy did leave her backpack on a plane, and I did bring that off for her. But you know, that was one time. She's been so good. The rest, so okay. It literally is only that. Everyone's been pretty good recently, which is a surprise for a long tour. Usually you've got loads.
It is. I'm sure there's stuff you're not going to share with us, but it looks like the culture is absolutely thriving, both on and off the court, which was impressive to see. So come on then, let's look ahead, because you're going to get back, and there's no rest for the wicked. Jamaica series next, Jess?
Yeah, so I mean, Imo will kill me if we say there's no rest. So there is some rest. Yeah, we'll have a couple of weeks back home. The girls that haven't been over here have been working solidly back at home as well. Obviously, the Roses that weren't on this tour, with the future Roses, of which there's some really great talent in that group, and we'll rejoin camps kind of tail end of October, and then we go into a really exciting block building to play world number 4, who have been chasing our tail, as everybody knows, for a little while as well. So I think it's perfect, actually. Imo won't agree right this second, because she has been putting a bit of a shift in centre for a few games. But I think it's brilliant that we've got a little bit of momentum going into that, and actually hitting the top 3 teams other than ourselves in quick succession this side of Christmas sets us up really nicely, I think, to kind of like go into the new year kind of understanding what and if the gap is. And we think we've done a good job closing this one, but it's a whole new proposition with Jamaica. And I'm so pleased that ourselves as England Netball have been able to secure such a groundbreaking series against them year on year now, because we need to put them at full strength. We know that. We've had some really great contests against them the last few years and come up on the right side. But I want them to come at us with their strongest lineup, because we need to know where we're at against Jamaica's best. And I think we all know that they too are changing the order in World Netball. So yeah, really looking forward to that. 2 games at home, back to back, and 2 games away. So a different challenge, both physically and mentally and tactically, but a nice kind of step change from where we've been on a long tour, standalone games, but heaps of travel. And yeah, you can't underestimate the toll that's taken, really. And maybe that's why this one just slipped away from us. But as you say, we took it as far as we could for as long as we could today.
Absolutely. And Imo, quick one from you then. So Jamaica, when you have had a rest, she'll give you a rest, I promise. When you have had a rest, Jamaica coming up, how excited are you about playing against that back line? Because I mean, if they do bring full strength, you get that opportunity. I mean, that's going to be a battle, right?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think we've had some great contests against Jamaica, and like obviously defensively, you've got to be winning that ball early and pushing the ball over to the other end. And I don't think we've had loads of opportunities to play them with their full defensive lineup. And I think this tour has been great for some of the, especially the shooting circle, to get some confidence and get, like, obviously the partnerships going without Elle, and then being able to kind of get the ball to them in different ways and experience different styles. And obviously Jamaica is a whole different style again, so it'll be good for us to be able to go back, kind of have a look at how they're working together and stuff, and kind of go back to the drawing board on how we can get around it.
Perfect. Well, listen, you two, I've taken up far too much of your time. You can actually go and celebrate this evening. It's been fantastic here. Like I say, the support at home has been immense. To watch you guys go and do that, and to consistently do that, was a real special time to be an England fan. And I have to say this, it's a proper girl thing, but Jess, I love the kit that you guys were wearing on the bench tonight. You can see your t-shirts in there. That was mega. I love that. Yeah, it was very cool. Very cool.
What one? So we like it, but then all it's done is cause a rift between the players and coaches.
We'll be waiting for it. Well done, present.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it, you two. Thank you for entertaining us over the last few weeks. Enjoy your evening and get some well-earned rest. And we look forward to the Jamaica series next. Thanks, both.
Thank you.
Big fixture day in the netball world today. We've just announced all the Super League fixtures for across the season starting in March, but the big, huge announcement that we've just done live on Sky Sports is the Super Cup as well. So the opening weekend of everything, and joining me is head coach from London Pulse, Sam Bird. She was in the studio to do the draw. And Chelsea Pitman, head coach of Nottingham Forest as well. So we've got loads of things to talk about in regards to the fixtures. We'll start with the Super Cup because this is new, brand new. I mean, we've had so many brand new things. Chelsea, I'll come to you first. How excited were you to hear about the announcement of the Super Cup, and just give us a little bit of an insight as to what's happening?
I think from a coaching perspective, any opportunity where you can put your team in front of a crowd and then have multiple touch points of teams you are going to come up against during the season, how exciting and how great for our game, because also you can have as many friendlies as possible. If you have no crowd and no pressure on you, you sort of don't get that feeling, and you don't, I guess, give the opportunity to the players for them to learn how to feel that pressure. And we know that in the past, the round one, what we've usually done in the past, always draws a crowd. So I'm really hoping that this fixture will draw in more fans and get everyone excited. But for me, from my lens, it's a great opportunity for us to really play everyone, or play a few games under pressure and with people having eyes on us, and also the opportunity for us to have eyes on them.
So we know it's happening March the 8th. It's up in Sheffield, Sam. We've just done the draw a lot, and I think we did a good job. We have pretty even groups. We'll come to those matchups in a second, but there's going to be two pools, Pool A, Pool B. They will play semi-final format, then a final.
Yeah.
And obviously bragging rights before you head into the season. Is that a big deal?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be a really fun event for players to play in as well. I think, as Chelsea alluded to, playing in an opener with a full hour's match can be really nerve-wracking and quite stressful. Whereas I think for the players, having shorter games, playing lots of different teams, I think the fans will get behind them. Fans will be deciding who to support. So I think it's great that it's self-contained. It should be a really good, fun event, not too stressful even for the coaches.
Not too stressful. All right.
We'll see how we go. But it should be fun. And I think it's going to be like a celebration of starting the Super League. So to have a Super Cup there as a one-day event is brilliant.
Yeah, I am looking through the groups, Chelsea. We're in the same group, Pool A. So we've got Manchester Thunder in there and Birmingham Panthers. I'm most excited about the fact that all the teams are going to be at full strength. And it sounds crazy, right? The season doesn't start until March, but just gives a little bit of an insight about how we're managing everything at the minute. Because I think I'm on like my 17th attempt at a calendar in terms of where players are going to be. We know we've had the Roses go off and we've got loads of international things coming up. So how key is it going to be to have that group in before we actually kickstart?
Yeah, no, I think anyone who has international players and not just Roses, it is like a moving piece, and it's putting the jigsaw together in pre-season. And you just got to make the best of sometimes not a great situation for building for a season. But it's a week out. That the Super Cup is a week out from the season. You'd hope to think you have everyone. And I know from a Nottingham Forest perspective, we will have everyone there and hopefully fighting fit. And for us, again, like I touched on, it's just opportunity to work together as a team a week out from when round one comes. And I know that, yes, similar to what you said, my calendar has changed, shifted and adapted. And that's also the beauty of the girls being okay. Sorry, guys, we're going to have to move this training session to accommodate people coming in and out, because for our team, we have quite a few internationals here, there and everywhere. And I think that also is great for me because of the style and versatility of the style of netball that can be played for us. So yeah, it sort of sucks from a coaching perspective, but I also was very much a athlete at one point that was an international and was never around for this part of pre-season. So just got to make the most of it when we do have our 10 together.
Yeah, I mean, it has its perks, doesn't it, as an international, because you miss out on all the pre-season court sprints, so it's not too bad. Well, listen, Chelsea, if Nottingham Forest and London Mavericks are going to top Pool A, we know the semi-final there. Sam, I'll come to you. Pool B is Cardiff Dragons, Leeds Rhinos, Loughborough Lightning and London Pulse. So I'm presuming Pulse are through. Who's joining you in your fun tournament that you're going to play?
My fun tournament. Loughborough obviously been strong for a long time. They've got another strong roster, so I think they'll be the team to beat. But I think the beauty of this is that all the teams in the Super League have something to bring, and none of us really know what that's going to shape up like. So, I think every game's got to be a full-on try and win whilst I'm smiling, hopefully. So I think, as Chelsea said, it's just none of us really know what the other rosters are going to stand up to be like. So it's a great way to just test the water.
And, that's what's exciting for the fan base as well. Like, we hope we pack that crowd out in Sheffield. And look, what a way to start, right? We know that venues are going to be key this year. We know that getting fan base are in. So let's go forward then to the following week, March the 8th. Fixtures begin. Everything starts. You two play each other first. London Pulse versus Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, and it's the way these things work out, isn't it? Chelsea's obviously played for London Pulse, really enjoyed playing in the Copper Box, played really well, being part of our squad at the time that was doing really well, and sort of away from the court, I will obviously welcome Chelsea to back home to London, and then we'll obviously be at it against each other during the contest, but that's how it should be, sort of respectful and kind to each other away from the court, but then they'll be trying to turn us over and we'll be doing the same. So, and I think for us as a first home game to have a brand new team to come and visit us is great for the fans, that they'll know Chelsea well as well. So I think hopefully we'll get a lot of fans in for that first game and set the tone for how we want the Copper Box to be, absolutely rocking every home game. And it'll be really great to have Nottingham Forest first.
And Chelsea, coming to you guys, you're playing every home game in the Motorpoint Arena. So we know with the new rebrand of the Super League that every year we've got to add new venues. And you guys have gone big, bold from the beginning out into the Motorpoint Arena, which is fantastic for the sport. On Sky Sports News, earlier you were discussing getting not just those Nottingham Forest football fans in, but grabbing those new netball fans as well. How key are those activations going to be out in the community? And basically, what are you going to be doing? Like, how are you going to be bringing in that fan base?
Yeah, it is absolutely key. And it's about, I guess you've got the pathway and then you've got the community roots program that Nottingham Forest, we're really, really working hard behind the scenes of. And that's about getting our NSL players out there speaking to kids. And hopefully you just need one person to maybe attach to a certain player and not necessarily a team and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by her. I want to go watch her play. Mum and dad, can we go watch her play? And then maybe turn it into a family event, because sometimes it's not just about following a team. We all know that people will attach to a certain personality or a style of play and aspire to be that. So how can we inspire those around us to want to come watch the sport of netball and come support Nottingham Forest? I know there'll be so many Loughborough Lightning fans within this region. How can we get them to be like, well, this is your home. Like, come jump on board and jump ship and come to us. And it's not going to be easy, but I think if we do the right things by making sure we take the time to get to know the people around us, we get out to our communities, we run coaching camps and clinics and do Q&As at high schools, all the things that sometimes get put behind the scenes because we're so performance focused and elite sport focused, but we need to take the time to do that, to be able to build our fan base. And that's something that we started as soon as I landed, that I'm helping and trying to get out as much as possible. And once the girls are here, October 14th, we officially start our pre-season here, that they already have signed up to a lot of community roots programs and getting out to, I guess, attach themselves and align themselves with high school. So it's about inspiring by how we play, but it's also about showing the personality of each individual player here to make sure that you never know who they might attract. And we want everyone to fall in love with the game, because all of us here, like you both there, will know how great our sport is. It's just about getting someone to come watch it live, and then they'll love it too.
And Sam, we hear a lot about the backstories, don't we? We know how important that is for that netball community base, whether they're playing or watching or have not quite come to a live game yet. So, you know, you talk about that connection with Chelsea coming back. There'll be a fan group that want to come and see Chelsea play, even though she's in different colours and will probably still want to beat you, Chelsea, but no offence. But Sam, our rivalry, the London piece, is huge, right? So we are coming to you first at the Copper Box.
Yeah.
The return fixture is at Wembley in May. Like, I mean, how exciting is that?
It's so good to have, you know, our two teams based in London going at each other in two amazing arenas. I just think that there is this sort of rivalry building, and it should sort of emulate what you have in football. You know, you're either an Arsenal fan or a Tottenham fan, you know, either be London Pulse or be London Mavs. Go for it, you know, really get behind the teams and the squads. And just touching on Chelsea's point, I think we've both got rosters with really amazing personalities, and Liv and Fumi have just done amazingly well on tour internationally, and they're very much loved at London Pulse as well. So they, you know, fans do come just to see Fumi, and that's fine, you know, it's great, you know. So even those personalities and building up the characters in our game for people to connect with the game is really important, and you've got those personalities in your team as well. So I'm all for you know, let's go at it and let's make those stories as we go.
Can we make a story that Fumi's the new Messi? So Messi's the Messi of netball. I love that people are just going to be travelling from all over the globe to watch. I mean, she's pretty impressive watching live. Let's talk about some of the other fixtures then. Chelsea, because I know when the fixture list comes through, it's always nice to go, that's an all right, or whatever. And the big one is probably Loughborough and Thunder playing on the opening weekend. I mean, last year's finalists, how big a deal is that? And actually, do you look at the fixture list and go, oh, it's all right, we're not playing them till round 5?
No, I don't. I personally don't.
That's the Aussie in you. That's just, you've not been coaching long enough yet. You wait.
You know, I think just even talking about it now, I'm like, we still have so much time before Super Cup happens, before the season
goes quickly. Sam,
I know, as an athlete, you blink and it happens. But I guess for me, like, there's still so much opportunity to be able to nail and get through some things before it gets to that. And we also know it always changes. Sport is never just fluid and straight line and linear. So I know that we've got 5 months to prepare for that. But I think looking at paper, they have a strong team, and successfully they've been in finals year in, year out, and back-to-back premiers for the Lightning, and also Pulse, like, proven success in making finals each and every year recently. So yeah, you take that into consideration. But for us as a brand new team, it's about focusing in on us and what we can achieve. And let's, I know I want to win, but I need the girls to own that. I need them to come in and say, yes, we believe we can achieve that too, because I can't be the only one that has that belief and passion and drive and want to get there. They need to feel that, and they need to own that. And I can't just say, this is what we're doing. So this is the work that I need to do with the team so that they believe that themselves, because I know on paper we look pretty good, and people will be looking at us saying we look pretty good too.
Can we just have this conversation in a few years with Chelsea? But I do love it. I love that optimism. And you're right, that culture piece is huge. And I think that not only grows through the club and through your players, but also into the fan engagement that we're talking about. So final thing then, big announcements today. We've got the Super Cup up north in Sheffield. Amazing. The grand final, July the 6th, just announced at the O2. Now, Sam, I've got to say this. I've got to say this because we were chatting before. I am, but it's allowed because it's the rivalry already. I was like saying I played international at the O2, and it was like a real big deal because you're playing at the O2. Right? How cool is that? And then, Sam, what did you say?
it wasn't there when I was playing internationally.
That's fine because we all wish we could go back 10 years now and be the players playing in this league, and
we do,
and getting involved. But I mean, we were talking before about building the atmosphere and the fan base at the Copper Box and how you've had to really grow that, and then of course now getting the opportunity to play at the O2. Like, if you're any player or fan looking at that, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's an incredible venue to be hosting the final. It doesn't really matter where you're from in the country. Obviously, we'd both like to be there battling that out. Nice. But any team from all over the country wants to play in that final at such an amazing venue. And, to have sort of 8,000-9,000 fans in there, whatever the capacity is, screaming for your team and cheering you on is something all players dream of, coaches do as well, and fans. So I think it's another step change for the new Super League and the intent for this to go fully professional, and it sort of shows really good ambition and bravery and a lot of hard work to go between now and filling it up. But I think that's part of our role as clubs. We've got to put on entertaining and competitive netball, and all of us coaches involved in that are fully signed up to that. So I think the fans will feel that, and just for them to be able to cheer on their teams at that venue is fantastic.
I don't know about you two, but I feel like it's been a real moment the last few months. And I know there's been a lot of change. I know so much has happened in such a short period, but it just feels like this is the perfect opportunity for netball to do something it's never, ever done. And I think hearing you two speak so passionately about your teams and what the players are doing, I guess the final plea is fixtures are out now. Get down, watch a game, show up. Anything else we need to say?
No. You won't regret it.
You won't regret it. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, both of you. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we'll all be laughs and cheers now, but when you step into our Wembley Arena, HSV or Brentwood, just watch out, okay? It's not over till the final whistle's gone. But listen, good luck for the season ahead. Enjoy that long pre-season, Chelsea. You'll blink and you'll miss it. But I'm looking forward to seeing you both on the court this season.
Right. Thank you. Bye, Tamsin. Bye, Sam.
Thank you.